America then and now. Hope you're doing okay. I say that every video, but I really do. I hope you're doing okay. Um, I've been thinking of more things to do. So today I thought we'd delve back into music a little bit and talk about the old concert days when everybody, the big thing to do socially, especially in a small state like Arkansas, if a big act came to Little Rock, we'd all buy tickets and run and go see the concert, and we could all talk about it, the next week at school. So in the old days, the 70s and 80s, especially going to a concert, live music was a big deal. And it's a good way to get, go relax for a few hours. There's nothing wrong with it. And live music is a blessing, especially when you compare it to today's monotony, of way over track music, singers that really don't sing without auto-tune, without help. But going to a concert's a big deal. And I remember, the first big show that I ever went to was Willie Nelson on the Honeysuckle Rose tour. And while I'm a rocker, I'm a guitar player and everything, Willie Nelson, back in those days, was an icon already, and a kind of anti-establishment kind of fella. But back then you could afford to go to concerts. You'd fill up your car with gas, your tickets were $8, $10, $12, and $12 was an expensive ticket. And I remember going and seeing Willie, play for 2 hours, just basically non-stop. And that really got me into live music. It got me to playing guitar a lot harder, and turned me on as a musician a lot more. And I remember later, I think pretty much that same year, this would have been 80 or 81-ish, going to the state fair and getting to see Foreigner and Billy Squier. Billy Squier was the opening act, and Foreigner was hot on the Foreigner 4 album was just an enormous monstrosity album, selling millions and millions of records. And the heat from that album, it packed the Barton Coliseum at Little Rock. And the tickets were only $8. And at one time when they opened the back door, Barton Coliseum, there's near 14,000 people, if I remember right, had came into the building to see Foreigner. $8. Incredible. And concerts were a constant thing to go see. You and your friends, and maybe trying to go meet somebody after the show. I remember, meeting some people after the show, Bon Jovi and Survivor and, things like that. But actually sneaking up to the back doors, just trying to say hello to your favorite guitar player or whatever. And those really were the good old days. Seen lots of acts, but progressively, ticket prices get higher and higher, and the big bands, want more, especially, Arkansas, not a huge state, so people have to come from many miles around, to come to Little Rock. And later on, we had this riverfront amphitheater where we could get lots of people. Still made concerts fun. I've had to stand out in the rain, and things like that, to see an act. Then, probably in the 90s, you know, there was a lot of these older bands were reuniting and coming up with these tours, you know, it'll be 2, 3, 4 bands all together. And they still do that today, you know, to some degree, you know, trying to get all the old fans back together, you know, maybe doing a last tour, you know, kind of thing. But again, man, going to see really good live music and people that were actually playing, you know, the problem with today's music, so many groups and acts, they're using tapes in the background. That's not live music. That's not even close to live music. You know, so if you go to a concert, you want to see the band sing and play, you know, much, much different than today. And back then, record companies, you know, supported the artist more, which was a really good thing because it really doesn't happen today. They don't have the money. Music's moved a whole different direction today. And now, all the old bands and the new bands, they basically don't get any support. They support themselves. And a lot of them record, you know, digital recording makes it easier for everybody to stay at home and record tracks or develop their own studio and have really, really high quality results. So trends in music have changed drastically, especially in the last 10 years. And the only way the band's really making money now, they're not making money from the songs. They're not really, just a little bit. And they're not really making any money from the. There's no albums and CDs hardly in the classic form anymore. You know, they make and produce their own and they sell them at shows. So the best way today to help your bands and help them stay popular and keep them alive is you go see them in whatever venue they're at. You know, it may be a medium-sized hall or it could be a gigantic club somewhere. Go support them and remember they're making their money. They're making a little bit of money from the show. Then they're selling T-shirts and their CDs and things like that, and that's the only way they're making money. Those days of these big, enormous rock stars, you know, selling 8-10 million copies of an album and they get all those royalties. Boy, a lot of that stuff is gone forever. Well, maybe not gone forever. Maybe we'll have a resurgence of some kind. But go see those bands. Go see them live, you know, and help them out. Buy a CD or something, you know, and give them a chance. Now, real fast, we'll touch on this probably in some other videos. Today's kind of just in general and making you think about, do you remember the days of concerts? Or are you going to concerts these days? You know, now with COVID, you know, most of the bands have been shut off and not doing anything for well over a year. And some of the groups now are scheduling for later on in 2021. You know, like Styx, I saw the other day, they're scheduling now for like September. They're going to go back in Vegas. That's in September. You know, we're just in April. Real briefly talking about resurgencies in style of rock music, I want to take a little plug to Greta Van Fleet. They're really kind of bringing the 70s back, you know, and if you haven't heard of Greta Van Fleet, originally everybody thought they were a Led Zeppelin knockoff, but they're really kind of a combination between Yes and Zeppelin, and really good musicians. Then a lot of you diehard rockers might really get turned on to Dirty Honey. If you've not heard of Dirty Honey, they're a very kind of Aerosmith / Guns N' Roses combo pie. Really good, pretty talented band, and they're getting a lot of ground now. Then the girl singer and band Liliac is making a lot of noise. So there are resurgencies in the stylistically in rock music, and maybe they'll bust out and make something big of themselves. But when you get a chance now, think about it and go see a show somewhere. You know, there's nothing hardly to replace live music. Even if you just go to a club and see a band, you know, live music's still always something good, and it kind of takes you away from life for a few hours. Anyhow, you have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon, okay? Don't forget to subscribe. Say bye-bye.